Raven brothers. In a small, thatched-roof cottage nestled beside a whispering forest, lived a poor widow named Agnes. She had 4 children, 3 boisterous, ravenous sons Thomas, William, and Edgar, and a sweet, gentle daughter named Lily. The boys, with their mischievous grins and bottomless appetites, were a constant trial to Agnes. Little Lily, however, with her kind eyes and quiet smile, was the sunshine in her mother's life. One Sunday morning, Agnes prepared to go to church. A savory stew simmered on the hearth, filling the cottage with a tempting aroma. It was a special treat, as meat was a rare luxury. "Now, boys," Agnes said sternly, placing a finger on each of their noses in turn. "I forbid you to touch that stew. It's for our midday meal when I return. Promise me you will not even peek beneath the lid." Thomas, the eldest, nodded emphatically. William crossed his heart, and even Edgar, the youngest and usually the most defiant, mumbled a solemn promise. Satisfied, Agnes kissed Lily goodbye and set off towards the church, her heart light with the hope of a peaceful service. But as soon as the cottage door clicked shut, the boys' eyes met. A slow, wicked grin spread across Thomas's face. "Did you hear her?" he whispered, nudging William. "She said not even peek. She didn't say anything about eating." William, never one to resist temptation, readily agreed. Edgar, hesitant at first, was soon swept up in their excitement. They crept towards the hearth, their stomachs rumbling. Lifting the heavy lid, a cloud of delicious steam billowed out, carrying the scent of roasted meat and savory herbs. Within minutes, the stew was gone. Every last scrap of meat, every drop of broth, vanished into the insatiable bellies of the 3 brothers. When Agnes returned, she found the pot gleaming, sparkling clean, and the boys trying to look innocent. But their flushed faces and the lingering aroma of meat betrayed them. Fury, hot and swift, surged through Agnes. Years of hardship and their constant disobedience boiled over. In a fit of rage, she pointed a trembling finger at her sons and cried, "May you be cursed for your greed. May you turn into ravens, forever picking at each other's flesh until a family member releases you from this dreadful fate." No sooner had the words left her lips than a dark, swirling fog filled the cottage. The boys screamed, their bodies contorting, feathers sprouting from their skin, their hands and feet transforming into claws. With a final, mournful cry, 3 black ravens burst through the open window and soared into the sky, circling the cottage once before disappearing into the dense forest. Agnes collapsed, the horror of her curse washing over her. She wept for her lost sons, her heart aching with remorse. Lily, too young to fully understand, clung to her mother, tears streaming down her face. Years passed. Agnes lived with the weight of her curse, her days filled with regret. Lily grew into a beautiful young woman, her kindness and gentleness a balm to her mother's wounded soul. One day, Agnes, frail and nearing the end of her life, finally confided in Lily about the raven curse and the fate of her brothers. Lily, upon hearing the story, felt a surge of determination. She would find her brothers and break the curse, no matter the cost. With a heavy heart but a resolute spirit, she kissed her mother goodbye, packed a small bag with provisions, and set out into the world. Her journey was long and arduous. She walked through sun-drenched fields and dark, forbidding forests, over towering mountains and across rushing rivers. She asked everyone she met if they had seen 3 ravens flying together, always picking at each other. Finally, after many years of searching, an old woman in a bustling market told her a tale of a glass castle hidden deep within a secluded valley, where 3 ravens were often seen circling. Hope surged through Lily. A glass castle sounded like something out of a fairy tale, but she followed the old woman's directions, her heart pounding with anticipation. At last, she reached the valley. And there it was, shimmering in the sunlight, a magnificent castle made entirely of glass. It was breathtakingly beautiful, yet also strangely fragile and isolated. With a deep breath, Lily approached the castle gates. They creaked open at her touch, revealing a courtyard bathed in an ethereal glow. Inside, she found a table laid with a beautiful feast. Silverware gleamed, crystal goblets sparkled, and the aroma of delicious food filled the air. Lily, however, noticed that the food seemed untouched, as if waiting for someone. Overwhelmed by hunger, she cautiously tasted a spoonful of soup. It was the most delicious soup she had ever tasted, rich and flavorful. After taking a few more sips, she felt guilty eating food that clearly belonged to someone else. Finding a large, ornate bed tucked away in a corner of the room, she crept beneath it and hid, waiting for the owners of the castle to arrive. Just as dusk began to settle, she heard the flapping of wings. 3 large ravens flew through the open windows, landing gracefully on the table. As they did, a remarkable transformation occurred. The ravens shed their feathers, and in their place stood 3 handsome young men, Thomas, William, and Edgar, her long-lost brothers. They sat down at the table, their faces etched with weariness and sadness. Thomas reached for the soup, but stopped, a frown creasing his brow. "Someone has been eating my soup," he said, his voice filled with suspicion. William and Edgar examined their plates, confirming that someone had indeed tampered with their meal. A tense silence fell over the room. "Perhaps it's a thief," William suggested nervously. "Or something worse," Edgar added, his eyes darting around the room. Thomas, ever the boldest, stood up. "We'll search the castle," he declared. The 3 brothers began to search, their footsteps echoing through the glass halls. Finally, Thomas lifted the heavy bedspread and saw Lily huddled beneath. A gasp escaped his lips. "Lily?" he said, his voice filled with disbelief. Lily slowly emerged, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment and relief. "Thomas," she replied, tears welling up in her eyes. A joyful reunion followed. The brothers embraced their sister, showering her with questions and expressing their gratitude for finding them. They explained the curse and the torment they had endured as ravens, forever hungry and at odds with each other. However, their joy was tempered by a warning. "To break the curse, Lily," Thomas said gravely, "you must remain silent for 7 years, 7 months, 7 days, and 7 hours. Not a single word must pass your lips, no matter what happens. Only then will the curse be lifted." Lily, without hesitation, nodded her head. She was willing to endure any hardship to free her beloved brothers. To protect her, the brothers built her a safe haven high in the branches of a giant oak tree near the castle. They brought her food and water, and kept her company whenever they could, transforming into their human forms whenever they were near. One day, as Lily sat in her tree, a royal hunting party rode by. The king, a handsome and noble man named Arthur, stopped beneath the oak to rest. He looked up and saw Lily, her beauty shining like a beacon through the leaves. He was instantly captivated. He had never seen a woman so fair, so ethereal. Despite her silence, he felt an undeniable connection to her. King Arthur, unable to resist her allure, asked Lily to marry him. Lily, though unable to speak, conveyed her agreement with a gentle nod and a warm smile. Arthur, overjoyed, carried his silent bride back to his kingdom, where they were married in a grand ceremony. However, the king did not know that lurking in the shadows, watching their happiness with envious eyes, was a wicked hag named Griselda. She had designs on becoming queen herself, and she had a hideous daughter whom she desperately wanted Arthur to marry. Griselda saw Lily as an obstacle and vowed to destroy her. As fate would have it, King Arthur was soon called away to war, leaving Queen Lily under the protection of his court. But the wicked Griselda saw this as her opportunity. When Lily gave birth to 3 beautiful children, Griselda stole them away and replaced them with animals, accusing Lily of being an unnatural mother. King Arthur, upon his return, was horrified and heartbroken. He believed Griselda's lies and, in his grief and anger, condemned his silent queen to death. As the executioner raised his axe, ready to sever Lily's head, 3 black ravens swooped down from the sky, carrying 3 bundles in their claws. They dropped the bundles at the king's feet, revealing his 3 stolen children, safe and sound. The ravens then transformed into 3 handsome young men, Thomas, William, and Edgar. Lily, having endured her 7 years, 7 months, 7 days, and 7 hours of silence, could finally speak. Overjoyed she cried, "My brothers," and explained everything to the King Arthur. The king, aghast at his mistake and filled with remorse, ordered Griselda to be punished for her treachery. The brothers were released from their curse, and Lily was restored to her rightful place as queen. The royal family lived happily ever after, their lives filled with love and joy. But Griselda, though banished, did not disappear. Fueled by hatred and a thirst for revenge, she fled into the darkest parts of the forest, where she plotted her return, her twisted mind already weaving a new web of deceit and malice. The revelation of Griselda's treachery sent a shockwave through the kingdom. King Arthur, his heart heavy with remorse for doubting Lily, ordered Griselda to be banished from the realm, never to return. Yet, Lily, with a wisdom beyond her years, knew that banishment alone would not extinguish the embers of Griselda's wicked heart. She suspected, rightly so, that the hag would continue to plot her revenge from the shadows. Life at Camelot settled into a rhythm of joy and contentment. Lily adored her 3 children, Arthur a devoted father and king, and the brothers, now men once more, became trusted advisors and protectors of the royal family. Thomas, the eldest, possessed a keen strategic mind, William, a natural diplomat, and Edgar, with his quick wit and charm, was beloved by the people. They were a family united, bound by love and loyalty. However, Lily's apprehension regarding Griselda never truly faded. She would often find herself gazing out of the castle windows, her heart filled with a sense of unease, a premonition of lurking danger. Her fears, alas, were not unfounded. One crisp autumn evening, as the leaves painted the castle grounds in hues of gold and crimson, Lily's 3 children, Arthur Jr., Guinevere, and Tristan, were playing in the royal gardens, their laughter echoing through the tranquil air. Their nursemaid, a kind but somewhat inattentive woman, was momentarily distracted by a gossiping kitchen maid, leaving the children unattended for but a few fleeting moments. Those moments were all Griselda needed. Concealed within the gnarled branches of an ancient oak, the hag had patiently waited, her eyes gleaming with malevolent glee. With a flick of her wrist and a muttered incantation, she cast a shimmering spell upon the unsuspecting children. In an instant, they vanished, leaving behind only the rustling leaves and the chilling echo of Griselda's cackle. The nursemaid, suddenly realizing her negligence, shrieked in terror, alerting the entire castle. Lily and Arthur rushed to the gardens, their faces stricken with horror as they learned of their children's disappearance. Panic gripped the court, and knights were dispatched in every direction, scouring the kingdom for any trace of the missing royal heirs. Days turned into nights, filled with fruitless searches and mounting despair. Lily, her heart shattered, retreated into herself, consumed by guilt and fear. Arthur, though outwardly strong, felt his own resolve crumble under the weight of his paternal anguish. The kingdom mourned, its joy replaced by a palpable sense of dread. One morning, as Lily wandered aimlessly through the castle corridors, a glimmer of hope flickered within her. She remembered the wise woman who lived in the Whispering Woods, a recluse rumored to possess ancient knowledge and potent magic. With renewed determination, Lily resolved to seek her aid. Donning a simple cloak to disguise her identity, Lily ventured into the Whispering Woods. The air grew heavy with an eerie silence as she delved deeper, the ancient trees seeming to watch her every move. After what felt like an eternity, she reached a small, moss-covered cottage, smoke curling lazily from its chimney. She knocked hesitantly, and the door creaked open, revealing a woman with eyes as old as time itself. The wise woman, sensing Lily's distress, beckoned her inside. Lily recounted the events of the past few days, her voice trembling with emotion. The wise woman listened patiently, her gaze unwavering. When Lily finished, she nodded slowly. Griselda's hand is at play, she confirmed, her voice grave. She has taken your children and enchanted them, transforming them into creatures of the forest. Arthur Jr. has become a swift-footed deer, Guinevere, a songbird with a voice of pure gold, and Tristan, a playful otter, darting through the rivers. Lily gasped, tears streaming down her face. Is there anything that can be done? Can the spell be broken? The wise woman nodded. There is, but the task will be perilous. Griselda's magic is strong, and her lair is well protected. To break the curse, you must find the heart of the Whispering Woods, where the ancient spring of life flows. Bathe each of your transformed children in its waters, and the enchantment will be undone. Lily, filled with a renewed sense of purpose, thanked the wise woman and set out on her quest. Guided by the woman's cryptic instructions, she navigated the treacherous paths of the Whispering Woods, facing countless obstacles and dangers. She evaded snarling wolves, outsmarted mischievous sprites, and crossed raging rivers, her determination fueled by her love for her children. Finally, after days of relentless searching, she stumbled upon a hidden clearing, bathed in an ethereal glow. In its center lay the spring of life, its waters shimmering with an otherworldly light. Now, Lily had to find her children. Remembering the wise woman's words, she started to search. Soon, she heard the song of a beautiful bird, its voice so sweet it brought tears to her eyes. Lily followed the sound until she found the songbird, Guinevere, perched on a branch. Gently, she caught Guinevere and took her to the spring, bathing her in the magical waters. Next, Lily sought the swift deer. She looked for any sign of the once familiar child. Then, she saw the flash of antlers between the trees. She followed Arthur Jr. into the light and bathed him in the spring. Finally, she thought about Tristan, the otter. Lily moved towards the river when she saw the flash of fur slipping under the surface. She followed the playful otter and caught him in her arms. She took him back to the spring and bathed him in the magical waters. As the last drop of water touched Tristan's fur, the clearing erupted in a blinding light. When the light subsided, Lily found herself surrounded by her 3 children, their eyes wide with wonder and relief. Overjoyed, Lily embraced her children, showering them with kisses. Together, they returned to Camelot, where Arthur and the entire kingdom rejoiced at their safe return. Griselda, her wicked plot foiled, vanished into the darkest corners of the land, her power diminished, her influence waning. Lily, Arthur, and their children lived long and prosperous lives, their reign marked by peace, justice, and unwavering love. And though the memory of Griselda's treachery lingered like a shadow, it served as a constant reminder of the strength of family, the enduring power of love, and the importance of vigilance against the forces of darkness. The kingdom of Camelot had faced its greatest trial and emerged stronger, more united, and more deeply grateful for the blessings that had been bestowed upon them. They learned that even the deepest wounds can heal, and that even in the face of unspeakable evil, hope can always prevail. And so, they lived happily ever after, their tale a timeless testament to the enduring power of love and the triumph of good over evil.